Hey guys, it's me, Angie. Come on in, neighbor. I'm outside again today. My husband's next door. On one of my videos, I showed you a home of a lady where he cuts her grass. So if you hear the lawnmower, he's over there cutting her grass. Then he's going to come back over here and cut our grass. So I may get a little footage of that so you can see the man. But anyway, I wanted to come in today and make a video and share something with y'all that I don't think y'all know yet, which y'all may. I don't know if I even mentioned this or not. I hate to keep doing videos about the different ailments that I have and talk about all my sickness and everything, but I don't do that for sympathy or any kind of pity mouthing. I am a survivor and I am thankful to be alive. I wake up every morning ready to go and live, unless I've had a relapse, and then that takes me a little longer to get up and go. But I remember on a movie, Shawshank Redemption, it said, you're either basically just waking up to live or you're just dying every day. So I'm waking up to live. I want to live to the fullest of my ability that I'm able to live. But on a brighter note, I am up and moving this morning. As you can see, I have my makeup on. We're supposed to go to my daughter's this afternoon for supper. That's what we call it here in the South. We call it supper. She told me yesterday that she's going to have lasagna and salad and sweet tea, and which is wonderful because I hadn't had lasagna and I can't tell you when. And it's getting winter time, and that's a winter food. Lasagna, spaghetti, soups, gumbos, things like that are winter food to me. But what I wanted to share with you all, and I don't think y'all know this, is before I got diagnosed with my sarcoidosis, my autoimmune disease, I got a pacemaker. And I'm 100% dependent on my pacemaker. So you could say I actually run off batteries, a battery, because I'm 100% dependent on it. So I joke with my husband all the time that it's too bad he couldn't actually take the battery out and set me over in a corner somewhere, and then when he wanted to deal with me, put the battery back in, and I could function and do whatever I needed to do. That's kind of a joke around our home. But before it was 2012, the year that my daughter was a senior in high school, and it was Christmas Day. I had my family here. We were having dinner, Christmas dinner, and I walk into my kitchen to put my plate by the sink to be washed, and that's the last thing I remember. The next thing is my son's over me, and I've just fallen out on the floor. I come to, I had passed out, and my son's like, "Mom, your heart's beating 100 miles an hour. What happened?" It's like, I don't know. Maybe my sugar dropped. I don't know what happened. Well, that was in December. Well, my daughter played basketball. We were at a game one night, and a friend of mine's a nurse. So she and I were sitting at the basketball game, and I told her, I said, the strangest thing happened to me over Christmas break. And I explained to her what happened, that I'd passed out. She said, "Oh, you need to go to the doctor." I said, "Girl, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't even have doctors. Only thing I have is a gynecologist, and other than that, I don't need a doctor." She said, "Oh no, you just need to get checked out. And if there's nothing wrong, that's good, but then they'll have a baseline if something ever happens, but you need to go to the doctor." So you know how hard it is to get seen by a specialist. So I just figured, I called my gynecologist, told him what happened, and he said he would set me up with another doctor to get seen. I thought, well, it'd be a month or so, 2 months, whatever. Well, it wasn't but about 2 weeks. I go to this doctor I've never seen before, walk in, speak to the nurse. She does an EKG in the office. I wait in the room. I had driven myself to the doctor. So he comes in. He said, "All right, now tell me about what happened to you, about you passing out." I explained it to him. So he says, "I don't want to upset you, but you're in 100% heart block. And we're going to have to send you by ambulance to one of our larger cities, Jackson, Mississippi, because you're in 100% heart block." Well, at this time, I'm thinking, bless his heart. He's picked up the wrong chart. He's in the wrong room. He's supposed to be over there with this elderly person. And, I just knew he wasn't in the right room. I was like, he's not talking about me. So I look at him and say, "I'm not going in an ambulance to Jackson. I feel fine. I'm not going." Denial. Well, at the meantime, while he's trying to convince me to go by ambulance to this hospital, his phone rings, and it's a doctor from Jackson at the other hospital. He said, "Well, I'm talking to her now, and I'm trying to convince her to go by ambulance, but I'm not sure that's going to happen." And he didn't want to upset me and try to force me to do something I didn't want to do, because I was in 100% heart block. So he gets off the phone and he says, "Well, is anybody at your house?" And I said, "Well, my husband's there. He worked last night, but he's at home." He said, "Do you think you can get him to take you to the hospital in Jackson, which is about 45 minutes from our home?" I said, "Sure." So I leave his office in 100% heart block, okay? Drive 9 miles to my house. Get here, tell my husband, "Look, they want me to go to Jackson. I'm in 100% heart block. I need to get to the Baptist hospital." So he gets dressed. We take our time. No big deal. We get halfway there, and this is big wreck on the interstate. So we stay in traffic that's backed up for about an hour and a half. Well, I finally make it to the hospital. I tell them who I am, all this stuff, and they're like, "Where have you been? We've been waiting on you." I said, "There was a wreck on the interstate, and my husband and I stopped. We were stopped in traffic." "Why didn't you call an ambulance to come get you?" I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. What are you talking about? I feel fine. There's nothing wrong." "Ma'am, you're in 100% heart block." At that time, I didn't know what that meant. Well, what was going on was the top part of my heart was not communicating with the bottom part of my heart, and I was on the reserve part of the lower part of my heart. And at the time, I didn't know your lower part of the heart had a reserve, and I was on the low part of the reserve. It was about to go out. Well, all these nurses are over me. Doctors are coming in. They're running all these tests to see maybe it's my thyroid, because I don't have any history in my family of heart disease or heart problems or anything. So they can't figure out why my heart rate is 40 beats a minute. So they're just having a fit because I just didn't take the ambulance to the hospital. So I just stop them in midstream and say, "Look here, I know that something's wrong with me. Do not cause a scene and make a big deal out of it. Just fix whatever's wrong. Just, if you can fix it, fix it. Let's don't fuss at me for not being at the hospital when I'm supposed to be here. I'm here now, so let's just get done what needs to be done." So the doctor came in who did the procedure of putting the pacemaker in, who I love. His name is Dr. Fike. And he wears these little bow ties, and he's an elderly man, and he starts talking about how many pacemakers he's implanted and all this stuff. Well, when he gets there, he really calms me down. He makes me feel good about the procedure. Needless to say, I go through the procedure. They put the pacemaker in, and that was in 2013, January. So the battery is supposed to last about 10 years, and I go every year for them to check and see how much more battery life I have on my pacemaker. This past year I went, I have like 4 years left, and then they'll have to change the battery. But I went in on a Friday, came home on a Sunday, went back to work on a Monday. So my boss calls me, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to come back to work tomorrow?" I'm like, yes, I do. I was working half dead. Now I'm fine. They put a pacemaker in and I'm good to go. I felt great because my heart rate went from 40 beats a minute up to like 70 something that a normal person would have. But there was still no medical reason why my heart failed. I had no blockage, no heart disease, nothing was wrong. It was just the electrical part of my heart just messed up and had a break in it. So not only do I have this autoimmune disease, I am fully dependent on a pacemaker, which I try not to think about it a lot of times because I don't want to think about it stopping or the battery, something going wrong. So I just kind of live my life with the premise of, okay, I'm alive and well now, and let's just function today for today. But I didn't think I had mentioned to you all about me having a pacemaker. But that's another thing that I have and I deal with on a daily basis, which I worked from the time I received my pacemaker till I got diagnosed with my autoimmune disease with the pacemaker, because I never even gave it a second thought once they implanted it and I was doing okay about me having it. It made me function. Every 6 months or every 4 months, I have to put this thing on where my pacemaker's implanted and send it to my doctor to make sure I hadn't had an event, that nothing's going on with the pacemaker, nothing has happened to it. And so far, everything's turned out fine. But, like I said earlier, it's kind of a running joke that my husband has a wife that actually runs off a battery, But anyway, I wanted to share that with you all and let you know that even though we go through trials and troubles, there is a little humor to it sometimes. And to look on the bright side of things and know that no matter what you're going through, there's always a brighter side. And there's things that good things can come from bad things. And I don't know why I chose to share the pacemaker story with you today, but maybe it will help someone that maybe is having a little problem with their heart. Because see, for a year or so, I was having, like, my heart would race and I would have things going on, but I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was hormones, my thyroid. I really didn't know it was as bad as it was. So I should have had myself checked out sooner than I did. But I never dreamed that I had that kind of problem, because my family history had no heart disease or problems in it. So I never dreamed there was something wrong with my heart. So if you're having some kind of medical issue going on with your body that's continually going on and you really can't explain it, maybe you need to go get it checked out. And it's like my friend said, if there's nothing wrong, that's great. And then if there ever is something wrong, they'll have a baseline to go back to, like this year nothing was wrong, and then all of a sudden something happened. And thank goodness she talked me into going to the doctor and making an appointment, because I probably would have died in my sleep or whatever, because my heart rate had done dropped so low. Like I said, my heart was beating 40 beats a minute, where you're supposed to beat 70 something. That's where they have my pacemaker set, like on 74 beats a minute or something like that. But the only thing I can't do, I can't not supposed to stand in front of a microwave too long. I can't use a TENS machine. Like if you use it on your back, if you got an ache or something, I can't use that. What else can I not do with a pacemaker? There's just little things you can't. Oh, magnets. You can't have anything with magnets on it when you have a pacemaker. So I have to watch things like that. But other than that, I don't even give it a second thought most of the time about me having a pacemaker. And like I said, it doesn't ever really cross my mind until I have to do my reads, as I call them, to send to my doctor so he'll know if everything's functioned properly until I go once a year and they check me over thoroughly, make sure everything's fine. But anyway, guys, it's a beautiful day today. The sun's shining. My hubby's coming back over here in just a little bit to cut the grass. My hummingbirds are flying around, trying to get their last little nectar before they fly off to go wherever they go, because wintertime is coming. So they're around my porch flying around. And I get out this afternoon and go to my daughter's house and visit with her and leave my home, which I very rarely get to do. So until next time, neighbors, I'll see you later. Bye.